Hello there YouTubers, welcome once again to my channel Inmates of the World, in which I read aloud prison letters I've received from various inmates from around the world, which I then examine from a forensic psychiatric perspective. I'm doing this as I've worked in mental health for over 20 years and I'm currently studying forensic psychiatry, and today I shall read you a letter I received from way back in 2004 from British serial killer Dennis Nilsen. So before I read the letter aloud, I shall give you a bit of a background as to who Dennis Nilsen was. Dennis Andrew Nilsen was born on the 23rd of November 1945 in Scotland and passed away on the 12th of May 2018, aged 72, in York Hospital in England, following surgery to repair an abdominal aortic aneurysm. He was convicted of murdering 12 young men. He was arrested initially in 1983 for these crimes. Typically, he would strangle his victims, dismember them, and boil the body parts on his stove until all of the flesh had fallen away from the bones. This included severed heads. He had to then flush the flesh down his toilet. He then burned the bones on a fire in his backyard, making the bones weaken and more brittle, which he would then pulverise. Dennis Nilsen is often referred to as the British Jeffrey Dahmer, because like Jeffrey Dahmer, Dennis Nilsen was a homosexual man who went out and preyed upon young men, which he then brought back to his flat or apartment, as you may know it as being called, in which he would then murder and dismember his victims. Dennis Nilsen was also played by actor David Tennant in the true crime drama series Des. So there's a bit of a background for you about the man there. Now here is the letter I received way back in 2004, actually on the 13th of January. I shall hold this letter up for you, which I'll then take a larger photograph if you'd like to screenshot it or zoom in or whatever you'd like to do there. It's only one-sided, so there's no reverse to show you. Clearly Dennis Nilsen had access to a typewriter at this time, and he wrote this letter from Full Sutton Prison in York, England. And the letter reads: Dear Charlie, thank you for your undated letter. I am usually a bit apprehensive when I get an unsolicited letter from someone who seeks permission of the prison service in wishing to write to me. It makes the assumption that such permission is necessary, and to say the least, is very patronising of an individual prisoner. I signed the prison service form in the affirmative to express that nobody needs to seek permission to write to me, or for that matter, to anyone else. Having read your brief half-page letter, I am at a loss in discovering why you might want to contact me. I guess you have given more information of yourself to the prison service than you have given to me in your letter. You say that you are a little perplexed as to what to write, and I will conclude that if you don't know, then who does? For an introductory letter, it barely rises to the postcard level. I don't really have the time or the energy to engage in mystery puzzles with unknown correspondents whose motives seem lacking in confidence and clarity. Therefore, I regret to say that having received your first letter, I do not feel inclined or minded to continue with any measure of regular correspondence. With regret and my apologies, yours sincerely, Des Nilsen B-Wing, which he has signed with a pen there. Now, this is a very interesting initial response from any kind of forensic psychiatric perspective. There seems to be a certain degree of denial for his crimes, even though he's confessed to them quite frankly and openly in the past. This whole issue of, I'm at a loss why you would wish to contact me, as though he's somehow convinced himself that he's purely entirely innocent of any wrongdoing in the past. There is also a certain aspect here of conceitedness, which has been very consistent with Dennis Nilsen throughout his life. He seems to enjoy having this one-upmanship on an intellectual basis. So there are several points here where he seems to try to be intellectually putting me down, or even patronising me to a certain degree. I've also find it profoundly perplexing as to why he's written to me, I don't really have the time or energy to engage. Well, a man serving in prison, time in prison 24 hours a day, I find it odd that he would say he doesn't really have the time. But there we are. He was incontrovertibly an intellectual, Dennis Nilsen, regardless of the hideous nature of his crimes. The fact that he chose to type his letter rather than handwrite it is also very unusual, and that suggests very much a degree of, not as far as obsessive compulsive disorder, but it does suggest a man who very much likes things ordered and regimented and done in the proper sense, so to speak. Unfortunately, this letter is very brief, but it is the introductory letter. I interacted with Dennis Nilsen for around a period of 12 months, so I have more letters to come in the future from him. And that's the brief introduction, all that we have here. In the end, he did actually kind of not capitulate, but he did agree to correspond to me to a further degree. And that's pretty much all I have for this initial episode. So thank you for watching. Please share, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you on the next one. So look after each other and love each other.